Hello, everyone. This is StrawberryShorty here with my recap and commentary of Interview with a Vampire, episode 14. I could not prevent it. Gonna be real, I kind of feel like there were chances. This is probably going to be a rough episode, so let's just dive right in. And sorry if the phone charging thing pops up. It's been acting up lately. So an emotional Louis recalls them being dragged off by the Coven and his worry for Claudia. That apparently puts Claudia in that rat box to torture her, which is horrifying and completely unnecessary. Like, what's the motivation here? Even hurting Louis like that makes more sense, since it would be hurting Armand. On stage, the Coven uses their powers to stop the defendants from defending themselves against their claims about them breaking the laws. Santiago uses Claudia's diaries as evidence, naturally only reading the parts that benefit his tale. We also get more unpleasant reveals. The defendants were maimed to prevent them moving during the show. Louis could feel Lestat, and surprise of surprises, he's alive. Of course, we knew this from the last episode. Louis, this is one of those ways you could have prevented this, not stopping Claudia from finishing Lestat off. In the present, I do love that Daniel calls out Armand, having sold Louis out to Lestat. Louis recalls seeing Armand, who was being forced to watch and guarded to ensure that he did not escape. Not getting involved with Armand would be another way this could have been prevented. Louis. Also, calling nonsense on Armand's attempt to pass himself off as another victim, like he's an extremely powerful vampire who can literally stop time. No way he couldn't have saved all of them before the abduction even happened. Daniel also calls him out, but Louis is all like, no, Armand spent the whole performance trying to find a way to save me. That attitude is another thing that led to this thing you could not prevent, Louis. Lestat gives his version of events, which is like a perversion of the book in which he does the same thing. Nothing is as Louis told it, but in this case, Lestat twists every single thing to make him look good and Louis look bad. He was the victim. Louis seduced him. The only enjoyable thing about this part is when Lestat calls out and utterly humiliates a heckler who calls him and Louis a slur. Louis seems to be giving some of Lestat's story credence in the present, which is concerning, because I seriously doubt any of it is true. Illusion Lestat also appears in the interview, which is also concerning. Back to the story, the only thing Lestat owns up to is that time he violently beat Louis. But much like Armand, he acts all sorry about it, still making himself the subject of pity, and acts as though Louis was just as complicit. It's really hard to watch. Seriously, how does Louis still have any attachment to either of these creeps? Daniel needs to save this man from himself. Also, I can see the buffering things popping up again. This player is terrible, but it was the only one I could find. Anyway, even if it were to turn out that Lestat is actually being completely honest, this way of conveying it is just bad. I can't take it seriously and can only feel bad for Louis and Claudia, who are being kept from defending themselves in any capacity. They try to have Lestat go off script and emotionally admit to badly hurting Louis, but I just can't even consider that he's being even remotely honest or feel anything for him. Claudia tells Louis that Lestat is just up to his same old tricks. When Lestat apologizes, Claudia states that even if it was true, it's too late. When asked by Daniel if the apology moved him, Louis seems to agree that Lestat was manipulating him. Claudia speaks up, for some reason not immediately stopped by the Coven. She angrily points out how Lestat isn't dead and asks if her apologizing would change anything. Claudia also calls out the fact that this is just another chapter in Lestat and Louis' messed up romance. The trial continues as though none of this happened, with Lestat back to painting himself as the victim with no remorse. We move on to sentencing. The group actually seems willing to spare Madeline if she renounces Claudia and joins the Coven, making it clear that death is the alternative. It is a nice change, because it was always weird that they were just like, yeah, let's just kill Madeline. Claudia finally has someone choose her, though. Madeline states that Claudia is her Coven and is sentenced to death. Unsurprisingly, Claudia is also sentenced to death. She makes it clear she will find a way to kill everyone, even though the audience are really just oblivious idiots. Kinda rooting for her, though I suspect Louis will beat her to it. Louis' turn is next, and he's sentenced to banishment thanks to our hero Armand tearfully using his power. And Armand literally says that it took all his strength seconds later when Daniel points out how he saved Louis. And surprisingly, it's Armand who gets the line, I could not prevent it. Yeah, you definitely could have, in about 1 billion different ways. You could have let them go, interfered earlier, run away with them, and so forth. Santiago was not happy with banishment, so he chose to carry it out by having Louis put in a rock-filled coffin and interred so he could slowly starve to death. Why is Louis still with Armand? Interestingly, Louis didn't see Claudia's fate, so Armand is left to describe it. Claudia and Madeline are killed on stage, holding each other and whispering last words. Claudia goes out holding Madeline and singing the Baby Lulu song. I'm going to keep clinging to the idea that this didn't happen since we just have Armand's word for it. And he's not exactly honest. Also, according to Armand, Lestat seemed kind of horrified. He also could do nothing to prevent it, apparently. I really didn't like this episode. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. The Coven is needlessly cruel to Claudia, and the people who seemingly wanted to interfere keep acting like they were powerless. It was just kind of a gross and awful episode. So what did you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!